business book study. This is actually part 3 of the book by Tony Robbins, classic Awaken the Giant Within. This was actually published in 1991. This is part 3, so make sure you go back and listen to part 1 and part 2 on the YouTube channel, Radiant Living Biz YouTube channel, or Clients and Cash Flow podcast, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, make sure you have your notes, everybody. Welcome. Good to see you, Jane. Good to see you, everyone. Invite a few more folks in for Facebook. Okay, here we go. All right, this is huge. Emotional mastery. I find that, life does not slow down or give special treatment to the entrepreneur. And many of us, every person that I've worked with finds themselves at some point with some level of emotional distress, some challenges, some hurdles that they need to overcome. So we're going to study this, continue to take notes and see what takeaways we have from the chapter is Emotional Destiny. The goal, the only true success, our outcome. Lord Jesus, can you take this call right now, please? All right. Our outcome is take control of your consistent emotions and begin to consciously and deliberately reshape your daily experience of life. So the goal is to take control of your consistent emotions and begin to consciously and deliberately reshape your daily experience of life. And thank you so much for the hearts. I appreciate you guys. I'm on my laptop and it's a little hard to see everybody that's joining me, but in any event, we are going to continue, right? Okay. There is no true success without emotional success. Yet, one of the more than 3,000 emotions that we have words to describe, the average person experiences only about a dozen different ones in the course of an average week. We must remember that this does not reflect our emotional capacity, but rather the limitations of our present patterns and focus and physiology. Throughout this book, we've continually studied the mastery of emotion, and you've developed a broad spectrum of tools to powerfully and rapidly changing any emotion you desire. You now realize that changing how you feel is the motivation behind virtually all your behaviors. Thank you for the hearts. Thus, it is time that you develop a proactive plan for dealing with the negative emotional patterns that you habitually experience. It's equally important to give yourself the gift of expanding the amount and quality of time you spend in positive emotional states. The arsenal of skills that you have for changing your emotional states include physiology. Somebody write this down as you're watching the replay. Physiology, focus, questions, submodalities, transformational vocabulary, metaphors, neuroassociative conditioning. That was the NAC we were looking for in part 2. This is part 3. Beliefs, compelling future, values, rules, references, identity. The purpose of today's exercise is to simply make you aware of your present emotional patterns and get you to utilize as many of the above listed skills as necessary to guarantee that you shape your own emotional destiny daily. Somebody write down, shape your own emotional destiny daily. Okay. Number one, you guys ready for the assignment? Type assignment in the comments. Number one, write down all the emotions that you experience in an average week. Number one, write down all the emotions that you experience in an average week. Number two, list the events or situations you use to trigger these emotions. List the events or situations you use to trigger these emotions. Number three, come up with an antidote for each negative emotion and employ one of the appropriate tools for responding to the action signal. Do you need to change the words you use to describe this experience? Do you need to change what you believe about this emotional state? Do you need to ask yourself a new question? Be sure to consistently focus on solutions instead of problems. Commit throughout this day to replacing the old limited emotion with a new empowering emotion, and condition this pattern until it's consistent. With our emotions well in hand, we'll begin tomorrow to master our emotional destiny. Now, I'm going to go back because he's had to deal with this more in the book, and we skipped to those action steps in part 3. So, the 10 emotions of power, I'm going to go to that, 246. 246, chapter 11, 10 emotions of power. There can be no transforming of darkness into light and of apathy into movement without emotion. Okay, Carl Jung. All right, so he gets into a story. I don't necessarily want to read that. Okay, I'm skipping the story and I'm moving down. I believe there are 4 basic ways in which people deal with emotion. Which of these have you used today? 4 basic ways people deal with emotion. Number 1, avoidance. We all want to avoid painful emotions. As a result, most people try to avoid any situation that could lead to emotions that they fear or worse. Some people try not to feel any emotions at all. If, for example, they fear rejection, they try to avoid any situation that could lead to rejection. They shy away from relationships. They don't apply for challenging jobs. Dealing with emotions in this way is the ultimate trap, because while avoiding negative situations may protect you in the short term, it keeps you from feeling the very love, intimacy, and connection that you desire most. And ultimately, you can't avoid feeling. A much more powerful approach is to learn to find the hidden positive meaning in those things you once thought were negative emotions. Number Number 2, so that was avoidance. Number 2, denial. Type denial in the comments. A second approach to dealing with emotion is the denial strategy. A second approach to dealing with emotion is the denial strategy. People often try to disassociate from their feelings by saying, "It doesn't feel that bad." Meanwhile, they keep stroking the fire within themselves by thinking about how horrible things are, or how someone has taken advantage of them, or how they do everything right, but things still turn out wrong. And why does this happen to them? In other words, they never change their focus or physiology. They keep asking the same disempowering questions, experiencing an emotion and trying to pretend that it's not there only creates more pain. So we're talking about denial. Once again, ignoring the messages that your emotions are trying to give you will not make things better. If the message your emotions are trying to deliver is ignored, the emotions simply increase their amperage. They intensify until you finally pay attention. I think that's good. Okay. Okay. Competition. Number 3, competition. Many people stop fighting their painful emotions and decide to fully indulge in them. Rather than learn the positive message their emotion is trying to give them, they intensify it and make it even worse than it is. It becomes a badge of courage, and they begin to compete with others, saying, "You think you've got it bad? Let me tell you how bad I've got it." It literally becomes part of their identity, a way of being unique. They begin to pride themselves on being worse off than anyone else. As you can imagine, this is one of the deadliest traps of all. This approach must be avoided at all costs because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where the person ends up having an investment in feeling bad or on a regular basis. And then they are truly trapped. A much more powerful and healthy approach to dealing with the emotions that we think are painful is to realize that they serve a positive purpose, and that is, okay. So far, if you're just coming in, this is Business Book Study. We are studying Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. Focus is emotional mastery. My name is Chanelle Washington, profit strategist for Nurse Bosses. The best way to say thank you for this series is to share the videos. If you're on Facebook, please share them on your page or your favorite Facebook group, or tag a nurse boss or someone who could benefit from this information in the comments. If you're on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on any of my live stream replays or content that gets uploaded to YouTube. There's so much good stuff coming across. You definitely don't want to miss out and be able to watch it at your leisure, okay? All right. So far we've talked about the 4 basic ways which people deal with emotion: avoidance, denial, competition, okay, and now learning and using. If you want to make your life really work, you must make your emotions work for you. You can't run from them. You can't tune them out. You can't trivialize them or delude yourself about what they mean, nor can you just allow them to run your life. Emotions, even those that seem painful in the short term, are truly like an internal compass that points you toward the actions you must take to arrive at your goals. Without knowing how to use this compass, you'll be forever at the mercy of any psychic tempest that blows your way. Many therapeutic disciplines begin with mistaken presupposition, I think that's right, that emotions are our enemies, or that our emotional well-being is rooted in the past. The truth is that you and I can go from crying to laughing in a heartbeat if the pattern of our mental focus and physiology is merely interrupted strongly enough. Freudian psychoanalyst, for example, searches for those deep, dark secrets into the past to explain our present difficulties. Yet we all know that whatever you continually look for, you will surely find. If you're constantly looking for the reasons why your past has hamstrung your present and why you're so screwed up, then your brain will comply by providing references to back up your request and generate the appropriate negative emotions. How much better it would be to adopt the global belief that our past does not equal your future. Somebody write that down. Your past does not equal your future, or make it personal and type, my past does not equal my future. Facebook, bear with me. I'm going to try not to lose you here. I really want to see these comments, and I hope and pray I don't lose you from this. No, it's not going to work. I just want to cry because I can't see any comments in Facebook right now. But don't stop making them, okay? There they are. I made one comment and they all came through. Hey, everybody. Good to see y'all. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Now y'all got to keep those hearts coming. I can see it now. I just had to type in hello and I got a flood of comments and seeing everybody who's here. Okay. All right. How much better it would be to adopt the global belief that my past does not equal my future. My past does not equal my future, okay? The only way to effectively use your emotions is to understand that they all serve you. They must learn from your emotions and use them to create the results you want for a greater quality of life. The emotions you once thought as a negative are merely a call to action. The emotions you once thought of as negative are merely a call to action. In fact, instead of calling them negative emotions, from now on in this chapter, let's call them action signals. Somebody say action signals. Once you're familiar with each signal and its message, your emotions become not your enemy, but your ally. They become your friend, your mentor, your coach. They guide you through life's most soaring highs and demoralizing lows. Learning to use these signals frees you from your fears and allows you to experience all the richness of which we humans are capable. To get to this point, then you must change your global beliefs about what emotions are. They are not predators, substitutes for logic, or products of other people's whims. They are action signals trying to guide you to the promise of a greater quality of life. Thank you, Yajide. If you merely react to your emotions through an avoidance pattern, then you're missing out on the invaluable message they have to offer you. If you continue to miss the message and fail to handle the emotions when they first turn up, they'll grow into full-blown crises. All our emotions are important and valuable in the proper amounts, timing, and context. Realize that the emotions you are feeling at this very moment are a gift, a guideline, a support system, a call to action. If you suppress your emotions and try to drive them out of your life, or if you magnify them and allow them to take over everything, then you're squandering one of life's most precious resources. So what is the source of emotions? You are the source of all your emotions. You are the one who creates them. So many people feel that they have to wait for certain experiences in order to feel the emotions they desire. For instance, they don't give themselves permission to feel loved or happy or confident unless a particular set of expectations is met. I'm here to tell you that you can feel any way you choose at any moment in time. Huge takeaway. Okay? I'm here to tell you, somebody write this down, that you can feel any way you choose at any moment in time. At the seminars I conduct near my home in Del Mar, California, we've created a fun anchor to remind us who really is responsible for our emotions. Okay, let's skip that part. You don't have to wait for anything or anyone. You don't need any special reason to feel good. You can just decide to feel good right now, simply because you're alive, simply because you want to. So if you're the source of your emotions, why don't you feel good all the time? Again, it is because your so-called negative emotions are giving you a message. What is the message of these action signals? They're telling you that what you're currently doing is not working. That the reason you have pain is either the way you're perceiving things or the procedures you're using. Specifically, the way you're communicating your needs and desires to people or the actions you're taking. What you're doing is not producing the result you want, and you have to change your approach. Okay. I'm going to skip a little bit. Feeling depressed is another call to action, telling you that you need to change your perception, the way that the problems you're dealing with are permanent or out of control. Yes. Or you need to take some kind of physical action to handle one area of your life so that once again you remember that you are in control. This is a true message of all your action signals. They're merely trying to support you in taking action to change the way you think, change the way you're perceiving things, or change your procedures for communicating or behaving. Okay, we're going to jump down. It's 6 steps to emotional mastery now. I feel like this will be a good time to take a break and make this a part. Should I continue? 6 steps. I'm going to take a break, okay? And we're going to come back and make this a part 4. Would that be? Because this is part 3. We talked about financial mastery. We talked about in part 2. Part 1 was our overview. Make sure you go back and check out this series. We'll likely make it a playlist on a YouTube channel so that you can continue to work through this. Have your notes. I want to hear back from you. Post in the comments. Let me know what your observations are. As I'm reading, what are your takeaways? Are there any personal experiences that you have that this is helping for? I mean, I think the emotional mastery, this is huge. My takeaways are that we don't have negative emotions. Instead, we have action signals that are prompting us as calls to action. What can we think about differently? How can we perceive things differently? Is there something that we need to change in how we are doing things? Okay. So, those are my takeaways. Use and respect our emotions, listening to those not as something to say, let me go back into the past to validate how I'm feeling now, but what is it that I can do now to shift and transform, okay? So I'm going to take a break. So these will be digestible and they won't be too long for these videos. But please make sure if you're enjoying this series, the business book study with Tony Robbins, hashtag Tony Robbins, that you tag someone else, that you share this live stream video. My name is Chanelle Washington, profit strategist for nurse bosses with Radiant Living Biz. I am the author of Clients and Cash Flow, 10 Steps to Scale Your Business to 10 to 20K monthly. In the part 1, we talked about the best way to increase your income. If you're looking for practical ways to do that, you definitely need to get your copy of that book. The website is radiantlivingbiz.com. You can grab your copy of Clients and Cash Flow. I'll get the signed copy out to you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next part. So we'll be on part 4, and we will continue this emotional mastery. It's so important, and I'm getting a lot from it. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching. See you in the next video. More Radiance.